Okay, it's getting that time of year when we're starting to look for bluegill. I'd like to tie a bluegill pattern today. This pattern was given to me by my good friend Joe Aminetti. He calls it his Christmas tree, and it's brought a lot of presents to me in terms of bluegill when I've used it. Notice it's tied with bead chain eyes. It sinks slowly into the water column, doesn't go down real fast, and with the bead chain eyes, the barb or the point will ride up. So it's an excellent pattern with bluegill. I'd suggest you tie a few and put them in your box. To tie the pattern, I'm going to be using a Mustad 3366. This is a size 8. And some of you might say, well, that's awful big for bluegill. Well, my experience has been that even small bluegill will take this pattern, but we'll find that they don't really swallow the hook all the way, so it's not as detrimental to the health of the bluegill if you're going to turn them back. For thread, I'm going to be using some red. This happened to be Viva's 10-aught. I've already got the the bead chain eyes onto the shank of the hook. This is, I think, size medium. You can use large or you can use smaller, depending on how fast you want this fly to sink. I'm going to start the thread, and I'm going to lay a base down the shank. I'm going down into the bend, about halfway down the bend. Give a little bit of a tag. Okay, this will show up well in the water, and it seems to be somewhat of an attractor. Come here. There we go. Okay, to keep the bluegill from breaking this, when they take the fly, I'm going to put a coat of head cement on this tag. Okay, for the tail of the fly, we're going to be using a red hackle. I'm going to take some barbs off this hackle. And I'm going to take a pretty good clump of barbs. And I want them about the distance from behind the eyes, bead chain eyes, to the end of the hook shank. Tie this in. Okay, for the body of the fly, I'm going to be using some pearl chenille, fine. It's in a color peacock. You can also use a black color material. I like the peacock. It seems to work well. Tie it in right behind the bead chain eyes. All the way down to the end point here, and then we're going to bring the thread back behind the eyes, and we'll bring our chenille forward. We'll tie it off. And we'll clip the excess hair. Okay, for a hackle, we're going to put a hackle on this. I'm going to be using some chickaboo in black. You can use black hen hackle. You can use any number of materials. But as long as they're black, black seems to be the best color. We're going to prepare a hackle. I'm going to do that by cutting the barbs off of the right side as the concave side faces me. You notice they have a concave, which is this way. I'm going to hold it so that's towards me, and I'm going to cut the hackles, the barbs off the right side of the stem. Be careful not to cut the stem. Okay. Just a little farther. Okay, I'm going to tie that in with the shiny side towards me, or the concave side towards the fly. I'm tie it in right behind the bead chain eyes. Okay, I'll clip off this tip that we don't need. Okay, I'm going to bring my thread then up in front of the bead chain eyes. Take the hackle pliers and I'm going to make the first couple wraps behind the bead chain eyes. Now, notice the length of this hackle, or the barbs, are about to the end of the hook shank. Okay, then I'm going to bring this over and make a couple wraps in front of the bead chain eyes. Okay, we'll tie it off. Clip the stem. I'm going to get these little barbules clipped off. Be careful not to cut my thread. Okay, then we'll hold our barbules back, and we're going to make a little bit of a head of our red thread. And this will push those barbs back against that bead chain. Okay, we'll whip finish. Clip our thread. And we can kind of work on our hackles a little bit to separate them. Make sure we've got a full group of hackles all the way around the shank. And there we have, we got a couple stragglers here. Let's see if we can't go, well, there we go. There we have Eddie's Christmas tree.